Damion Hardy was born on November 3, 1974, in the Bedford-Stuyvesant section of Brooklyn, New York. He attended Queen of All Saints Elementary School in Brooklyn's Fort Greene neighborhood. Hardy reportedly acquired the nickname World from peers who compared him to professional basketball player Lloyd Bernard, who legally changed his name to World B. Free in 1981. His older brother, Myron, garnered the nickname Wise. Both Damion and Myron attended Bishop Loughlin Memorial High School, a Roman Catholic university preparatory school in Brooklyn. Former students of the school include former NBA All-Star and Rookie of the Year Mark Jackson, former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani, and rapper Christopher "Biggie" Smalls Wallace, who attended Bishop Loughlin at the same time as Damion. In 1991, Damion and Myron formed the Cash Money Brothers drug trafficking organization. The group proceeded to wrestle control of crack cocaine sales in Lafayette Gardens housing project, away from more established drug traffickers. After seizing control, the Hardys used the housing project, comprised of approximately 2,680 residents and 7 buildings, each at least 13 stories tall, as a base of operations. In 1993, Damion was convicted on weapons charges and witness tampering, and given a sentence of 2 to 4 years in state prison. He was accused of both shooting at narcotics officers and ordering the shooting of a state witness against another CMB member. He was released from prison in April of 1996. In 1998, Damion was ejected from a Brooklyn roller skating rink by bouncer Michael Colon. In retaliation for the perceived slight, he had Colon murdered by another CMB member. On June 12, 1999, Myron was shot to death in Lafayette Gardens over drug territory by Rumal Davis, the nephew of Ivory Davis, who led the rival Davis drug trafficking organization. The shooting prompted Damion, who was in prison at the time of Myron's murder, to initiate a killing spree in retaliation for his brother's death. On June 15, CMB member Dwayne Myers murdered Jared Mackens in the vestibule of the same building in which Myron Hardy was killed, at 456 Lafayette Street. Mackens, a member of the Davis organization, was suspected of having supplied Rumal Davis with the gun used to kill Myron. Rumal fled New York and wasn't apprehended until 2001, when he was arrested in North Carolina. Following his extradition back to New York, he was convicted and sentenced to 28 years in prison. On June 10, 2000, Darrell Homo Baum, Homo, short for homicide, was shot to death after allegedly pressuring Cash Money Brothers member Edward Taz Cook to sell drugs for him. According to police, CMB member Eric Moore shot Baum once in the back of the head, on the corner of Quincy Street and Marcy Avenue, in Brooklyn, in front of several witnesses familiar with Baum, and was driven away by fellow CMB member Zara Sarkisian. According to Baum's younger sister, Zakia, he was lured to the corner by a female acquaintance. He was rushed to nearby Kings County Hospital, where he died 10 hours later. Baum's longtime friend, heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson, paid for his funeral and burial expenses. Baum had been released from prison 6 months earlier, on December 31, after serving 13 years, and quickly established a business relationship with Ivory Davis. Just 2 weeks prior to his death, on May 25, Baum was the alleged triggerman behind the attempted murder of rapper Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, in which the future chart topper was shot 9 times. During Kenneth Supreme McGriff's 2007 federal murder and racketeering trial, prosecutors alleged that McGriff had hired Baum to kill Jackson. Jackson himself named Baum as his would-be murderer in his 2003 song, Many Men. Baum had been in the employ of his childhood friend, heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson, as a bodyguard, and according to court testimony, Tyson put a $50,000 hit out on Hardy following his friend's murder. According to testimony, Hardy also ordered that Tyson be murdered when he learned of the contract. On August 1, Davis associate James Hamilton was shot to death inside his Brooklyn seafood restaurant, Fillet of Soul, by gunmen acting on orders from Hardy, according to witness testimony. At approximately 4 a.m. on August 10, CMB member Eric eBay Moore shot Ivory Davis twice in the back while he was sitting in his Range Rover and double-parked at the now-defunct Club NV, located in New York Soho district. While fleeing the scene, Davis inadvertently hit 38-year-old award-winning filmmaker Joan Kamitz, who was crossing the street at the time. After hitting Kamitz, whose leg was torn off, the SUV jumped the curb and flipped over on its side, after crashing into a traffic pole. Kamitz died after being rushed to St. Vincent's Hospital and Medical Center, while Davis was pronounced dead at the site of the crash. Davis, who'd been convicted in July of assaulting a Brooklyn nightclub owner, had been shot twice before, most recently 6 months earlier, outside of the popular Manhattan nightclub, Tunnel. Davis' criminal history included arrests for drugs and attempted murder, and a conviction for armed robbery. In 2001, CMB enforcer Eric Moore was allegedly hired by convicted crack kingpin Kenneth Supreme McGriff to murder Troy Singleton. Singleton was shot several times in the head and back as he exited a Queens nightclub. On July 12, 2002, Hardy and CMB members James Sessoms, Isheen Campbell, and Keywayne Jones were charged with the attempted robbery and kidnapping of Ashabuddin Shakur. Police found Shakur blindfolded and bound in a Brooklyn apartment controlled by CMB and seized a loaded AK-47 assault rifle. Hardy began dating rapper Kimberly Jones in 2002. The two had known each other since the first grade, and Jones had previously dated Damion's brother, Myron. During the relationship, the younger Hardy allegedly physically abused Jones, to the point of the latter requiring cosmetic surgery. Jones shared a New Jersey mansion with Hardy and gifted him a Range Rover while the two were together. Ironically, the Hardys' longtime rival, Ivory Davis, appeared as Jones' love interest in the music video of a hit 1995 song by her group Junior Mafia. In September of 2003, Hardy was involved in a shootout with members of rapper Curtis 50 Cent Jackson's security team outside of a New Jersey DoubleTree hotel. The hostilities reportedly stemmed from an incident earlier in the year whereby Hardy confronted Jackson regarding the latter's on-air insult directed at Jones during an interview at New York's Hot 97 radio station. The confrontation took place outside of the station immediately following the interview. Jones and Hardy had become engaged by the time they ended their relationship in 2004. Also in 2004, Hardy was interviewed by then radio personality Wendy Williams on her syndicated show, The Wendy Williams Experience, on a New York radio station. During the exchange, Hardy discussed his by then former relationship with Jones, and what he described as a vast conspiracy to discredit him. An 18-month joint investigation by the NYPD, FBI, U.S. Customs, and the U.S. Attorney's Office culminated in Hardy's arrest upon his arrival to JFK International Airport on August 15, 2004. He was returning from a 4-month religious pilgrimage in the Middle East, during which he was arrested twice on unrelated charges. Hardy was reportedly arrested in Morocco, and again later in Jordan, after speaking against the country's monarch. Initially, an indictment charging Hardy and 12 other CMB members with federal racketeering and narcotics trafficking was filed on July 19, 2005. Initially, Hardy was indicted on 1 count of conspiring to traffic narcotics, but a superseding indictment, filed in 2008, charged him with 26 counts, including narcotics trafficking conspiracy, racketeering conspiracy, 6 murders in aid of racketeering and illegal use of firearms. During this time, Hardy reportedly changed his name to Issa Jibril. Sessoms, who was arrested in June of 2005, prior to the July indictments, went to trial beginning in September of 2006 and was convicted the following month. He was detained at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn until August of 2011, when he was sentenced to 35 years in prison. In September, he was transported to the Maximum Security Penitentiary, Big Sandy, near Inez, Kentucky. Hardy stabbed another inmate during his detention in the Metropolitan Correctional Center, located in Manhattan, New York. CMB member Abu Bakr Rahim was tried in June of 2008 for driving the getaway vehicle, following both the August 2000 murder of James Hamilton and the July 2003 murder of Tyrone Baum. During the trial, Hardy associate-turned-government witness, Shelby Henderson, testified that Hamilton's murder may have been prompted by Edward Cook's desire to eliminate him as a direct competitor in the numbers racket. He further testified that Cook held both Baum brothers responsible for the death of his father. Henderson also contended that he was present at a party hosted by Hardy's mother to celebrate Davis' killing when he participated in a discussion about murdering Tyson, an idea to which he objected. Initially, Hardy was determined to be incompetent to stand trial due to a diagnosis of schizophrenia. However, he refused his prescribed medication. In 2013, a 3-judge appeals court panel ruled that Hardy could be forcibly medicated with antipsychotics in order to render him competent to stand trial because he'd committed numerous assaults against inmates and prison guards while incarcerated. According to prison officials, Hardy also emptied a tube of toothpaste and filled it with urine for use on guards. At the time, Hardy was in detention at a federal prison hospital located in Springfield, Missouri. The death penalty had hung over the heads of both Hardy and Granton since the then Attorney General Michael Mukasey authorized it in 2007. His predecessor in the Obama administration, U.S. Attorney General Eric Holder, reversed that decision on Thursday, May 29, 2014, sparing the two from potential lethal injections. Hardy solicited funds both from his ex, Jones, and her longtime rival, Brooklyn rapper Inga Foxy Brown Marchand. Hardy's intention was to secure the litigating talents of high-profile criminal defense attorney Benjamin Brafman, who'd previously defended music tycoon Sean Carter, Michael Jackson, and mobster Sammy the Bull. Brafman had previously won an acquittal for business mogul Sean Diddy Combs in his 2001 trial for gun and bribery. Hardy's federal drug trafficking trial began on April 1, 2015, nearly 10 years after his indictment. He was represented by David Runke, who drew from his 30 years' worth of experience in private practice, including trying 15 capital cases. Among Runke's former clients are drug kingpin Kenneth McGriff and mobster Martin Taxeta. Runke's wife and law partner, Jean Barrett, served as co-counsel. Owing to presiding Judge Frederick Block's order, Hardy continued to be involuntarily and heavily medicated with the antipsychotic haloperidol throughout the trial. According to testimony from Cash Money Brothers members Shelby and Alan Bryant, heavyweight boxing champ Mike Tyson and fellow Brooklynite Muhammad Noor put a $50,000 hit out on Hardy and Cook following the June 2000 murder of Tyson's childhood friend and bodyguard, Darrell Baum. Tyson even dedicated his 38-second, June 24, 2000, defeat of heavyweight contender Lou Savarese to his childhood friend Baum. Tyson was never charged for alleged murder for hire plot. They further testified that Hardy ordered Tyson's murder after learning of the contract. According to Bryant, Shelby protested the idea of killing Tyson because he was a fellow Muslim. He further testified that CMB members had gone as far as surveilling Tyson, but stopped short of carrying out the hit when he was spotted by Shelby, Cook, Raheem, and fellow CMB member Abdul Aziz in the passenger seat of a parked Range Rover near the Bedford Atlantic Army Men's Shelter on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn's Crown Heights neighborhood. According to Bryant, Cook attempted to persuade Aziz, who had a reputation for carrying a shotgun in a suitcase, to kill Tyson on the spot. Bryant also testified that Hardy targeted music industry parties, where CMB members were directed to rob rappers in attendance. Dwayne Thor Meyer's testimony included a description of an argument between Hardy and the operator of a Brooklyn medical clinic that Hardy had intended to involve in an insurance fraud scheme. He said that Hardy had the man followed to Bushwick and shot in the street for mocking him during the exchange. Both Cook and Bryant agreed to cooperate with the government, following their June 2003 arrests at John F. Kennedy International Airport, in possession of 8 kilograms of cocaine, delivered from Grenada. Bryant, who was ousted from CMB after being revealed as a drug user, had personal tensions with Hardy after the former found out that while he was incarcerated, the latter had engaged in a threesome involving Bryant's girlfriend. Moore, who was arrested on July 18, 2005, one day prior to the filing of the initial CMB indictments, had survived being shot in the head in 2003 during an incident in which he and 2 friends were ambushed in an elevator in Coney Island, Brooklyn. On April 29, 2015, both Hardy and Moore were found guilty on all charges, which included convicted of racketeering, kidnapping, narcotics trafficking, and all 6 counts of murder. On May 11, 7 family members of the murder victims were on hand to give statements at Hardy and Moore's sentencing hearing. Both Hardy and Granton were given 6 life sentences each and continued to serve their times in prison.